Tonight on KGW News, 11 fires set in just a few hours, and police suspect one arsonist is behind them all.
It just seems utterly disrespectful, irresponsible.
Also tonight, justice for two women attacked while sitting at a Mac stop. Then, Portland's police chief bows out.
For me, I just felt like it was time.
So who's taking over? And why do they hope they won't have the job for long? And later, it's the anniversary not many get to celebrate.
We were just meant to be together.
Advice and wisdom from a couple that's loved.
I hadn't found out any of her faults yet when we were young.
And laughed together for 75 years. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We begin tonight with a search for a serial arsonist after Portland police say one man went on a fire-setting spree, sending at least one homeowner scrambling and leaving others calling themselves lucky. Alma McCarty takes a look at the evidence that has left a lot of folks feeling unsettled.
It just seems utterly disrespectful, irresponsible.
Neighbors up and down Portland's east side feeling wary Wednesday afternoon following a string of fires in the early morning hours.
So I was sleeping upstairs, and at about 6:20 a.m. I hear banging on my door.
Christy Ivancic awoke to a fire set to shrubs just outside her front door on Southeast Franklin Street. She says she had to jump out of the side of her house to avoid the flames, captured on her doorbell camera.
It was close. I think it could have gotten to a point if I didn't get my hose out and the guys didn't come over, my house would have been on fire.
The blaze here, one of several set this morning, according to Portland Fire and Rescue. Investigators believe this man, captured on camera starting more than one fire, is to blame. They've deemed the suspect a serial arsonist, beginning in northeast Portland before heading south. First, lighting a fire in this dumpster in the Kearns neighborhood, before setting fire to a pallet of pots off Southeast Ankeny Street.
I've grown up in Portland my whole life, and it just seems like it's getting more out of hand every day.
Jordan McCoy noticed the burn damage when he got into work. He's glad this fire wasn't worse, given the apartment building next to the lot.
It's destructive, we live in a city that's kind of going through a lot right now, and to have people who are just trying to be destructive like this, it's kind of a unfortunate situation.
So it was almost a 4-mile path of travel from 28th and Sandy down to Oaks Bottom area.
Within that area, Lieutenant Jason Anderson says they've identified 11 fires they believe to be connected, set between 3 a.m. and just after 7 a.m. With the suspect still at large, additional damage or another string of fires remains a concern.
And I understand that, sometimes we become sort of complacent about the things that occur around us. But when we're dealing with something like this, especially a serial fire setter, we want the public to be aware and maybe to increase their vigilance just a little bit.
Now, worth noting that no one was injured in any of these fires, and firefighters don't believe that anyone was put at significant risk. However, Lieutenant Anderson stressed how quickly a fire on or near the exterior of a building can spread. He's asking anyone with additional information or video, possibly even another fire to connect to this series of fires, to reach out. David?
Let us hope that this is where this all ends. Thank you, Alma. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. Portland Police Chief Chuck Lavelle is stepping down. Lavelle's tenure as chief over 3 years covered some of the toughest times in Portland's history, including a global pandemic, political unrest, riots, and an ongoing homeless crisis.
I took this job essentially overnight in June of 2020, and I always knew that I wasn't going to do it for the 7 years remaining I had in my career. So I think it's always been a question of when is the right time.
Lavelle will stay with the Bureau but move to community engagement work. Mayor Ted Wheeler has appointed Bob Day as interim police chief. Day worked at the Bureau for 29 years in a variety of roles. He's stepping out of retirement to take this on. He says he does not want the job long term. Governor Tina Kotek is pulling more than $2.5 million in state funding to combat homelessness in Multnomah County and sending it elsewhere. The bulk is going to go to Clackamas, Marion, and Polk counties. The governor's office says that is because moving those funds will have a greater impact toward meeting statewide goals. Multnomah County's leaders are still working out how to spend tens of millions of dollars in local, state, and federal funds. And several small businesses are trying to recover from a string of burglaries. The thief or thieves struck last weekend at the MLK Dream Run on the Portland Community College campus. The burglarized businesses had set up booths with a promise there would be security there overnight Saturday, only to find on Sunday dozens of items were missing. We reached out to organizers to learn more about the company they hired. We will update you if we hear back. Well, new at 11, a Washington County jury has found a man who attacked two women at a Beaverton Mac station guilty of robbery and assault. A warning here, this surveillance video is difficult to watch. The attack was in July 2021 at the Milliken Way station. That is when police say Louis Rodart approached two women who were waiting for the train and demanded money. When they refused, he attacked and severely injured both. Now, witnesses helped get the suspect away from the victims and called 911. He is set to be sentenced in November. In Oregon City, the Clackamas County Democratic headquarters has been attacked twice in just the last 3 weeks. Just 2 days ago, someone shot at the building with an airsoft gun. Last time, somebody threw a brick. Staff will have to replace all the windows and the front door. Workers say this is a sign of political attacks becoming more and more common, not just in Clackamas, but nationwide.
We're already afraid before this happened. We were already at a point where we had to lock doors when we're inside the building just to make sure that we're safe.
Oregon City police say they are investigating. Staff say there is no suspect yet. Right now, they are planning to add security cameras. For the first time in 3 years, people in Washington County can now apply for public housing. That wait list opened at 9 o'clock this morning. In total, the county is offering 900 spots for 2, 3, and 4 bedroom units. Now, families that qualify have until September 26th to send in an application. Once that window closes, the Housing Authority will use a random lottery. Let's get to the coronavirus now, with wastewater surveillance data suggesting COVID spread may be plateauing in some spots on the East Coast, but still ticking upward elsewhere. And while the CDC has approved new COVID vaccines, we found they're kind of hard to find in some parts of the metro area. That includes in Southeast Portland at the independent Brooklyn Pharmacy. Owner Pat Hubble telling us his doses are on back order from 2 different suppliers. He hopes to have his supply by mid-October.
So we're working hard to stay part of the community, and being a part of this community is able to provide those vaccines. So we're really anxiously awaiting that shipment.
You don't want to have to wait till mid-October to start getting these.
Oh gosh, it would be great if they showed up tomorrow.
We'll see. Some of the larger pharmacy chains have some appointments available to book online, but it's really hit and miss. Some have been canceled at the last minute because the shots just have not arrived. You can, of course, also check in with your health care provider. In financial headlines tonight, the Fed left its benchmark interest rate unchanged, the second time it has held rates steady in its last 3 meetings. Now, policymakers signaled they expect to raise rates one more time this year. They also said they are optimistic they can get inflation down to 2% without causing a deep recession, and that the economy will grow faster than expected next year. Now, the latest data shows consumer inflation is at 3.7%, while Wall Street had priced this decision in. Major indices ended the day down across the board. You're watching KGW News. Still to come at 11, pushing for the playoffs. Can the Timbers continue that hot streak and sneak into the postseason? But first,
I hadn't found out any of her faults yet when we were young. And so I don't know how to answer that.
Oh, you're going to be in big trouble tonight.
big trouble, humor, honesty, and a lot of patience. A new edition of Pacific Storyland with the local couple that's celebrating 75 years together.
And they're still laughing. That is so great to see. Hey, I'm Matt Safino. It's been clear out there tonight, but at the coast, look at the humidity at 100%. That means fog is beginning to form already, and it's chilly. It's 45 degrees. It will be a cool night. We've got a sunny, warm end to summer. That happens Friday night, mainly dry Saturday, and then get set. The rains are coming in. Some of it's going to be heavy.